3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for July 17th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, we finally know what Nintendo's M-rated game is, and devs reveal how a leaked game has affected them. Also, I get some personal bad news about NES World Championship. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host of Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James, everybody. Lucy, how are you doing?
Hello. You know what? My hair is really flat, so I actually feel pretty bad way to wake up, to be honest. I don't know how to fix this, but we're going to be okay.
What does flat mean? Is it does like no volume or something? Because it looks good.
No, thank you. No volume up top. And this is the thing. My hair is getting longer. I haven't had hair this long in a while. And I have so many layers into it that it's pretty, I don't know. There's a little bit of curl there, but also...
Uh-oh. Lucy James was having internet issues earlier this week, and now they might be back.
Is it back?
I don't know. You dropped out there for about 3 seconds or so. I believe that we're going to be just fine. I think that was the demons appearing just for a moment, and we're going to get through this. Yes, absolutely.
I hope so. But no, I was saying that I'm just prepping for Comic-Con, really, which is fun.
Right. Yeah.
That's next week.
You have the Dragon Age panel, right? Is that what that is?
I do.
That's exciting.
Hosting that. Yeah, I know. God, you should have seen me when I got the email. Yeah, because I'm a big Dragon Age fan, so I get to host that this year. That's not why I'm hosting it this year. It's part of the reason I'm hosting it this year. But no, I was very thrilled to be asked.
Excellent. You do anything else at Comic-Con? Is it like a busy, like kind of nonstop thing, or is it like I got a couple of things and then I got to figure out what I'm doing with the rest of my time?
Few things. I have some really fun stuff. And just for safety, I'm not gonna say what any of it is. Yep. Because entertainment stuff is like also embargoed. I don't know. The big planning sheet says confidential at the top, so I'm not gonna say specifically what we're doing, but I've got a lot of fun stuff. And especially because last year was my first Comic-Con and it was the strike.
Oh yeah.
So this year, kind of wild. There's actually stuff going on.
Yeah, it's and the entertainment stuff is like so different that it's like, do they handle things the same way? You know what? It's best to just be as careful as possible with those things. So
rock up.
Yeah, exactly. Just shut the hell up Friday and hope for the best. Yeah, but hey, if people are there, at least they know the Dragon Age panel and they can tune in for that.
And also at the fandom party.
Yeah, if there's the fandom party, is that like something people? I have no idea. Can people get into that?
Apparently a big deal. And I'm just gonna double check that our musical guest has been announced because it's kind of nuts.
Yeah, check that. Probably Bruno Mars. He owes a lot of money, so he'll work for cheap.
It's not. It's Jason Derulo.
That's right. I forgot. Oh my God. That's incredible. Well, I'm jealous. I bet you all have a good time. Just do me a favor and keep an eye on Jan. Take some extra care of Jan. I know he's like technically on vacation, but he's in Japan. He's going to be coming back from a lot of travel and going right through this thing. So just make sure our boy's okay and not overstressing himself too much.
I will. Not be overstimulated by.
Yes, keep him in a sensory deprivation chamber. That's right. Absolutely. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you're watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with NES World Championship review roundup. Last I looked, it had something around like a 76, 77 on OpenCritic. Let's start here with Giovanni Colantonio at Digital Trends, who gave it a 3 out of 5 and said, I'll surely continue to chip away at my best times. Nintendo World Championships NES Edition feels more like practice than the big game itself. It's a great way to learn the basics of speedrunning, but the outlet for those acquired skills is in another castle. Maybe it's all building towards the return of the real Nintendo World Championships. If that's the case, cue the 80s training montage music. I'm going big time. I'll jump ahead to this Andy Robinson one because he does explain the main problem that I'm going to have with this. He gave it a 3 out of 5. He says, for retro enthusiasts with access to like-minded friends and family, this Switch Challenge Collection is a genuine local multiplayer hit. For solo players and those looking to compete with others online, however, it's a far less impressive package. And this is from earlier in the review. That was like his roundup there. But this criticism applies to the entire Nintendo World Championships NES Edition package. Bafflingly, none of the individual speedrun challenges in the game display any kind of high score or leaderboard from online players. Not even the players on your friends list are listed, which feels like a huge omission for this kind of game. What the hell? This never even occurred to me that this would not be a part of the game. What is wrong with Nintendo, Lucy? Please, why are they like this?
I wish I had an answer for you. I really do. I want this to be good for you and Dan, but I
needed it. I was looking forward to this so much, and it's like this completely takes the wind out of the sails.
It feels like like you raised my hopes and dashed them most expertly. So it basically, here's Dan in the chat just going, shit. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know. How are you guys going to share your scores then if you can't? Are you just going to text each other? That's not fun.
No, that's not fun, but I think
she says, as someone who literally put in the group chat last night at 11:30 p.m. my New York Times mini score.
What'd you have last night is that the one for today's? Yeah. What'd you get?
20 seconds.
Jesus. I was like doing this one. I'm like, I bet Lucy's finding this one to be real easy. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I think I had like 55 seconds or something like that. I'm an old man. But
the thing is, I got a thrill from that, but I got more of a thrill from seeing your reaction. So maybe, I don't know, you guys FaceTime.
Yeah, maybe, but this got started because there was a leaderboard where we could start comparing times, and that got people excited and got more people playing. It's, a fucking newspaper has leaderboards, Nintendo. What are you doing? Like, this is crazy. I can't believe that this is actually not in there. I'm so down bad on this that part of me is in denial, and I'm like, they'll put that in an update. They're gonna treat this like one of the recent Mario sports games where here is the content at start and it really is practice, and then a few weeks later they'll be like, and here's an update, something they already had finished that is that has like leaderboards and all this other stuff and probably other games in there. I'm assuming that's happening, and I bet I'm gonna be disappointed by that too. This is real rough. So I think the plan will be we'll still play it. We'll stream it on Friday. We'll probably set some times. Maybe we'll focus on a couple levels where we really can just like share our times instead of like going through the whole game where it's like, okay, that's too many times to keep track of.
Can you do the thing on the stream at least where you've got like both like your screen and his screen up? And...
We'll do something. We'll figure something like that out. And then down the line, there's going to be chances to do stuff in person. And this, I know Andy had a really good time playing it when he was doing the preview, and I was reading that, and that's why I was excited about it in the first place. And I think that is the scenario in which the game is probably going to be best to serve our needs, which is a shame because, when it comes to like, there's older games, right, that like have only local multiplayer party stuff. There's like ways to do that online now. Switch, it's like, well, there's no like remote play together. And, there's ways to do that on the other systems. PlayStation has that. Steam has remote play together. If system had something like that, where we could mimic being in person for this, that would be fantastic. But either way, this game should have leaderboards. It doesn't make 100% sure. It doesn't 100%. Make any sense that it doesn't. So very, very frustrating to the point where it's like my sort of feelings about this game have almost done a 180, and I feel very frustrated by it. But whatever, we'll play it tonight. We'll see what it's like. And see if we can get some speedrunning stuff going. Next story, Emio, the Smiling Man. Famicom Detective Club has been announced for Switch. This is from Nintendo Everything. Nintendo just announced Emio, the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club, which is coming to Switch. The game launches on August 29th, 2024. Last week, the company put out a brief video of something called Emio. Since then, there's been plenty of speculation as to what Nintendo it was teasing, and now it's confirmed that it is this Famicom Detective Club follow-up. And this is the first new Famicom Detective Club story in 35 years. Wow. They did those remakes for the Switch last year or the year before that, something like that. There's some details. Like the reason it's rated M is it's a serial killer, like detective story. So there's going to be like some gory themes and things like that. Yoshio Sakamoto of Metroid fame, the producer of the Famicom Detective series, recently talked about the project in a video, which you can catch on Nintendo's YouTube channel. This is. Well, one thing, Jason Finelli called this on Game S Mornings, so that was pretty cool. We were talking about it when the teaser first happened. He was like, maybe it's the new Famicom Detective Club, and yep, he was 100% right. Damn. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is, like, I am not necessarily like super excited about this, but I guess it's cool that they're sticking with the Famicom Detective Club series. It feels very different for Nintendo. Do you have any interest in anything like this?
Mate, I have no idea what this is. I don't think I've ever heard of Famicom Detective Club.
Yeah, so it's like they're like visual novel detective, mystery series. That Famicom Detective Club was, on the NES, the Famicom really, because it never came out in North America, 35 years ago, and then recently they did the remakes of those two games and put them together in one package.
I saw the remakes in a. In a direct ones, but like
yes, yeah. So yeah, they're right, like point and click mystery adventures basically is what they are. Actually,
that sounds like something I'd be into.
Right, and it's I'm like I like detective games, so I'm like maybe there's something. I am still a little bit curious about this. I wasn't like Emio when it was like being teased, and it's this new M-rated game from Nintendo, and it could be anything. Obviously, the imagination starts going. But and now that we know what it is, it's okay. All right. So it's none of those other things that could have been, so amazing. But again, I'm like, this still maybe could be up my alley. I think I need to take a closer look at the Famicom Detective Club games in the first place, though. So I know people who did try those games mostly enjoyed them. So I don't know. Might check that out.
Maybe I'll get. Yeah. Also, Emio, or if it's Emio, it sounds like a Tommy Tallarico handheld gaming console.
Yeah, get the Emio. There's cartridges only. There's no DLCs. We don't do that here. We're too cool for that. We just love the gamer so much.
Oh no, it's not the whoa. It's the ooh.
Ooh. Yes, that's right.
That was his.
Yes,
his claim to fame.
Right. It's called the oof sound, and it sounds like ooh, like just wind leaving your body. Tommy Tallarico didn't do that shit. Yeah. Hey, Nintendo making an M-rated game. Also, like they. Have only published 7 M-rated games ever. I just learned last night they didn't even publish like Perfect Dark or Conker's Bad Fur Day, which were on N64 and were M-rated games. It turns out that those were both published by Rare. Rare published them themselves. Wow. It's very strange. And then I guess THQ published Conker's Bad Fur Day in Europe. So Nintendo's like, hey, we kind of, we have a huge stake in you, basically own you, and you're making this game for our system, and you're making this game for us. But
we don't want to be besmirched.
Yeah, get someone else to publish it. It was very strange.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't think this sort of opens the floodgates again or something like that. But I'm glad that if they are going to do one of these detective games, they are willing to sort of tackle a mature theme, and serial killers are kind of a fun subject.
Have you seen Long Legs?
I've not seen Long Legs. Is that what it's about? Oh, you can't say what. Okay, all right.
No, but if we're talking about serial killer stuff, it's about a serial killer.
Okay,
it's very good. I liked it a lot.
I need to. Everyone seems to really like it. Is it is it like a scary movie, or is it creepy and?
It's more like dread.
Okay, all right. I can.
As in lingering dread, not as in the Alex Garland dread.
Sure, okay.
With Carl Urban.
Well, listen.
It's great. It's like lingering dread. I think if you enjoyed 7,
Alan
Wake 2,
Who directed Seven? That's who I was trying to think of. Like, that's
David Fincher.
David Fincher. I'm like, yeah, is it David Fincher sort of Dread? Yeah, and that sounds like exactly what it is.
It's Fincher, but with, and I say this other than Love in the World, I think the dialogue is a lot of times very like closed off and emotionless.
Sure.
Whereas there's some really good star turn performances in this one. And also, but Nick Cage is great in it.
Okay, I guess I didn't even really realize Nick Cage was in it.
He sings at one point.
Okay, well, I'll definitely see this then.
It's become like a new meme on TikTok. Is when the singing bit.
I think we're losing you again, Lucy, a little bit.
I was like, yeah.
Lucy, I'm gonna reset the server because we're losing you. Hang on, let's go here. Yeah, okay. You're back, yes, but I'm going to go to.
Am I back?
Yes, US West. There we go. It's gonna black out for a second. Let's hopefully this fixes it. All right, are you there?
Hello. Am I here?
I think you're here. Yeah, it might be a bit of a delay, but I think we'll make it work. We'll get through it.
Oh no, my Wi-Fi has absolutely crapped it. Data speed test now. I'm getting 2 down.
Okay. Well, that explains it.
3 down.
Well, all right. We'll do our best.
I mean, I had no. Yeah.
All right.
I don't want to be on the phone to Xfinity again.
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah, I mean, did they come by already or something, and then they try to fix it, or did they like, oh boy, okay, that's.
They gave me a new modem.
Usually that fixes it because those modems only last like 3 months. It feels like mine always break. All right, No Man's Sky is getting a complete universal refresh in one of its biggest updates ever. This is from Ethan Gotch at Kotaku. As No Man's Sky nears its 8th anniversary, it's clear the open-world survival crafting sim isn't slowing down. A cavalcade of free updates continues to transform the game from what it once was at launch, and the latest of those is no different. Today, Hello Games revealed Worlds Part 1, a complete overhaul of planetary weather that's dropping alongside a major balancing patch and a new expedition that will see the community collectively fight against the threat of alien bugs. Is anyone else ready for No Man's Helldivers? When we started No Man's Sky, we wanted people to feel like they had stepped into a science fiction book cover, director Sean Murray wrote in an email announcing Worlds Part 1. To bring us closer to that, we've had to create a lot of new technology. He said that the technology will now make those things possible in the game, and that the community has almost given up hope on or that the community had previously given up hope on ever happening. Instead of a universal reset, as Summit predicted, Hello Games is calling this a universal refresh. Here's a summary of some of the changes of how No Man's Sky will generate planets and what players can experience on them. For example, new water tech for waves and reflections. Waves are dynamic and will react to wind. That's wild. Ships can land on water. New cloud tech for detailed skies with changing weather conditions. Volumetrics and atmospherics on planet surfaces for rolling fog, rain, blizzards, lava sparks, and other phenomenon. Weather systems that interact and develop in real time as players explore. New biomes and more creatures to discover with more variety, all of which can become pets and mounts. Oh my God is right. This is, 8 years and just consistent massive updates throughout all that time, and now they're adding like just fundamental changes to the way the underlying technology works. A lot of this probably was infused from the work they've been doing on that new game that they got coming out, which is like One Big Planet, that's a fantasy game or whatever, and they probably have been doing a lot of stuff for that.
What's it called?
I can't remember, but I was just thinking Dan saw it. He went to go see Hello Games when we were at Summer Games Fest, or maybe it was the Game Awards last year, and he just kept talking it up, and I've been thinking about it the last couple of Light No Fire.
No Fire.
Yes. So I bet a lot of that informs what we're seeing here. But still, it's like, okay, at a certain point, are you ever going to charge for one of these? I'm starting to feel bad. Like, we get it. The launch didn't go the way you wanted it to, and a lot of people bought the game at the moment, and you felt some sort of guilt, and you're like, we got to make this game what everyone wanted it to be. You've done that, all right? You can, I don't know, I want to give you money. Let me give you money. What are you doing here? 8 years, 8 massive updates, more than that, actually. How are you feeling about No Man's Sky?
I was there when it came out, didn't really dig it, and like I think at this point it's a great redemption story in terms of developers who really get also not the luxury but like the opportunity to work on that game and fix it, because a lot of people, like a lot of games come out, don't do very well, and then like all the criticisms that people have about it can't be changed or can't be tweaked. And so I think it's really great that like No Man's Sky had the chance to do that, and Hello Games had the chance to do that. Wait, it got 10+ million copies? Is that right?
That sounds right. Yeah. I mean, it did amazing. Like, it sold really well.
Yeah.
And, every time they do one of these updates, it gets a huge bump in sales. So it's impressive. But there's just not a lot of games doing what this game is doing in terms of, we have a base game that you can buy, and then we're going to continue to support it. But there's no like monetization, and there's no way to pay for these DLC updates. It's just all free. And if you want to buy the game, if you want to come in now and tell a friend about it so they can buy it, and that's the only way they're really making money. Everything else sort of has, I don't know, there's just nothing else like that. So this continues to be impressive, continues to be very cool. And I am someone who's whenever I think about Light No Fire, I get very, very excited, because it's like, man, I that technology sort of refined after, almost a decade, and used on one planet that you can explore and that has pockets of cool stuff all around, and it's a fantasy setting. Boy, that sounds very promising. And now been thinking about that for the last, half a year, hearing this update, and it's the kind of thing where, like, I want the moment-to-moment stuff in No Man's Sky to be better than it was when I first played it. Clearly, they've gotten to a point where it's likely there. I've checked in a couple of times. I haven't seen the last couple updates. But then pair that with, like, interesting new, like, technical advancements where it's like the waves are affected by the wind. I just kind of want to see that. What does that look like?
Yeah.
That like really does the thing where it's like, okay, now I do think I want to go in there, check out this tech, and then that might lead me into seeing all the new content that they've added and how everything changes. And I didn't even know you could get mounts. So maybe I'll turn an alien into my new horse.
No, me neither. Yeah. Or your new alien horse.
Alien horse, yes. But a few more details here. Alongside this overhaul, No Man's Sky will be launching a new expedition that revolves around fighting alien bugs. Murray describes it as Starship Troopers inspired, and says players fight against these bugs across new planets they explore, and then that will be community driven and come with a heavy armor mech that has a flamethrower for an arm. It really does sound a lot like Helldivers. I
was gonna say, this is the year of Starship Troopers with Helldivers and Starship Troopers.
Absolutely. It's finally getting its appreciation that it deserves. And yes, it feels like this game is doing that as well. I mean, clearly he says it explicitly. It's Starship Troopers inspired. It sounds like the unofficial Helldivers 2 crossover no one expected, and also a great idea for a new mech stratagem and Arrowhead's hit shooter. Yes. I'm very, very curious about this. I'll probably be checking back in on No Man's Sky when this goes live. All right. What we'll do now is we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll talk about how developers over at Saber and Focus are feeling kind of sad after a leaked game, and a lot more. All right, back into it. Saber and Focus saddened by leak of old Space Marine 2 build. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment have released a statement addressing the leak of a developer build of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. Videos of the unfinished build, which is said to be playable from start to finish, started circulating on social media this week after it was recently uploaded to a torrent site. In a statement released on Tuesday, developer Saber and publisher Focus thanked fans for their support and urged players to avoid the leaked build ahead of the game's official release. They said the build would be nearly a year old by the time the game is released for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC on September 9th, 2024. They also said, "We are deeply touched by the overwhelming support we've received from our community following the leak of an old build of our upcoming game, a Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, they said. Our teams have poured years of hard work, passion, and dedication into creating a game worthy of your hopes and expectations, and it's disheartening that many of the surprises we worked to keep secret were spoiled. We're saddened that this build, which will be almost a year old by the time we launch, is how some of our most eager fans will first experience Space Marine 2. You know what this reminds me of? Reminds me of X-Men Origins Wolverine leaking, right? Where it's like the unfinished CGI, and that's how I watched that movie. Was a bad version of that. And I don't think I've ever actually seen shoot X-Men Origins Wolverine with finished CGI. So in my head, it's always just like weird green screen stuff in the background and a couple of scenes. And yet,
I didn't even know that happened to that movie.
That happened to that. Yes. Yeah, totally. It was like a big thing. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this does stink. It's the kind of thing where, of course, I'm always curious about what does a game look like before it comes out? What did it look like a year ago that caused them? Like, this game was supposed to come out in 2023. They delayed it. And it's going to come out later this year now. It's like, what did it look like that caused them to delay it? Of course, I'm always curious about that. I'm not curious to the point where it's like, and I hope it leaks so I get to go on a torrent site and find it against their wishes. That sucks on their part. I feel real bad for them for this stuff. Especially, I hope it doesn't hurt sales. Like, Warhammer is the kind of thing where it is. It has a smaller audience that is very dedicated,
very engaged,
and might show up for like might be like, well, hell, I'll just go play this instead because I've been waiting for it forever. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think this is going to hurt the game in the long run, or do you think you'll be able to like survive this?
No, I think it'll survive it because I think really, if you are the engaged community member who has been waiting for this game, I think you are still going to buy it regardless. And also, it's like, I don't know, I think they did a really good job of the team did at like replying to the leak, because like stuff like this sucks. But also, if you are dumb enough to leak a full developer build, like that will have the build number, the ID stuff on there, like they're probably gonna be coming for you, bud. But it sucks. I mean, like, remember, invoking The Last of Us Part 2 here, but remember how devastating that leak was, and how devastating the Insomniac leak was, and those are very different because, for Last of Us, it was, well, I guess no, it's not really very different because in here, like, the whole game has been spoiled, so it's out there. But this happens so frequently. Like, wasn't it something like Red Dead 2's ending was online?
Yeah, definitely.
Early. Like, there's always there's always leaks. I think one of this, you hear of like, when you kind of go into the leaky subreddits, are always just like, oh, I heard this, this, and this, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, it just sucks. It's unfortunate.
Right. They're probably going to be a little bit, have a little bit of a grace area where there's probably no easy one sentence spoiler. Like, you're not going to be able to go, oh, the Space Marine gets killed by a golf club a half an hour into the game, right? So yeah, it's probably going to be a little bit more complicated than that. And even so, I think fans will be like, listen, yeah, this is out there. How do I get this? How do I go to a torrent site? I think the good news for them is that a lot of kids these days have never used torrents in their lives. That is something.
I haven't either.
Yeah. I am curious. Do kids get like anime through torrents, or is it like that's like mega folders and Google Drive folders? Like, I know like these days, like a lot of the anime does come pretty quickly, but there was a time there when it didn't, and it seemed like that drove a lot of the piracy there. Yeah. Oh, is there a poll about this? I would like to know this too. Yes. Are you a kid, and do you know what a torrent is? Not know what a torrent is. Have you used a torrent? They can know what a torrent is. Unofficial streaming sites. Yeah, right.
Do they know? I don't know. Like, I remember for a while, people doing that thing where you could go on Google Drive, or like you could Google like X-Men Origins Google Drive, and someone would have uploaded it and put it. Hang on, X-Men Origins Wolverine Google Drive.
Yeah,
and people would just have links. Yeah, there it is.
Incredible. Okay,
something,
yeah, right.
Something.
And for me, it was always like, it was torrent, because then I could build up my Plex server and stuff like that. So yeah, I either way, point is, I think this is going to be people read that and be like, that sounds like a headache. I don't know how to do that, and it would be the PC version anyhow. The game's coming to consoles, so there's going to be plenty of people who will be there day one who are going to be ready to buy the game, and then the story, even if the story does get a little spoiled, these are people who want to experience that world. They want to be in that world. That's what they like, the little bit of role playing they can do. So I think the good news is this game seems pretty proofed against this situation, and I hope that it's going to be just fine. I also hope the game is good, because I know a lot of people really like Space Marine 1.
Yeah, me too.
All right. Are you a kid, and have you torrented parentheses, not the horse. All right. Well, look at
Well, the kids, yeah, they seem to be. Oh no, no.
I'm gonna vote no because I'm not a kid. All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, it's okay. Well, wow. Okay, it just jumped to 17. So 50% have done it, and that was like the last second there.
The thing is that when we were younger, you didn't really have like I remember when Netflix the app started. Like,
yep.
You know, we didn't have your Crunchyrolls and your Hulus.
Yeah, right. But even like when it like something isn't on those services these days, I feel like kids just go to Mega and they go to Google Drive, and yeah, so it's just different.
I go to Amazon and I buy it.
Of course, days. Right? Yes, but they're like listen, the first edition of the Criterion of the Grand Illusion, Disc 1 of the Criterion Collection. You can't get that anymore on Amazon, not for cheap anyhow. All right. Yes, let's see here. Apex Legends piles up 10,000 negative Steam reviews as players fight price hikes. This is from Moises Tavares at Kotaku. Apex Legends has, over the years, been a bit of a hotbed for EA's penchant for greed. In the past, Apex Legends has faced controversy over numerous collections and cosmetics hidden behind notably expensive microtransactions. Now, EA's reworking of the Battle Pass has landed the game in unusually hot waters. It was recently announced that Apex Legends would be adjusting the delivery of its Battle Pass, effectively beginning with the upcoming 22nd season. Battle Passes will be split into halves, and players have to pay the price of a regular season for half of one now. So I guess they're effectively doubling the price. The justification from EA and Respawn was that players would receive more content by paying for each of the splits, but it seems that the publisher, which has repeatedly ranked at the top of the world's worst companies, is just trying to squeeze its community for more money. The community notes on Twitter, post announced that the change angrily insists that this move is only profitable for EA shareholders. To me, Lucy, this couldn't be a more illustrative example of a game that is at the not necessarily the end of its life, but it's definitely past the point where it's in user gathering. It's not past the user gathering phase. It's not all about like, let's get new players in. It is now about, we have players that are sticking around. Can we get more money from them? And this is something we've seen across the board. We had this conversation about the Xbox Game Pass price increases, PlayStation Plus price increases. So this is the exact same thing, where it's like, we're not necessarily getting a ton of new people coming in. So what are we going to do? How do we make more money? We raise the prices. And that's clearly what's happening here. I've definitely heard before that Apex Legends, EA feels that they are kind of over the hump of growth for that game, and now they are sort of eyeing the end of life, many years down the road, but that's what they're kind of going towards, that instead of going towards some new peak. And this feels like, okay, in the meantime, how much money can we make from this game that has been very lucrative for us and has sort of been the backbone for EA games as opposed to EA Sports? How do you read this situation?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's just because 22nd seasons we're up to for Apex.
Yeah.
Fundamentally, like it's not going to be that yearly release like COD, like constantly bringing in new people, like getting them to buy a full price game again. Like, no, it's free to play, but you gotta, I don't know, foot in the door, hope people that really enjoy your gameplay enough to shell out. And I think, this is
wrong button, everybody. Sorry. Keep going, Lucy.
Oh, what happened?
I hit the button that plays the music because I am a big dumb animal. There we go. You're
doing like the Oscars, like getting me off stage. No, but so I think your assessment is totally right. Where it's like it's at the end, and they're just trying to, or at least like not at the end, but it's like they're not bringing in new people, and so but they're like, hey, these other people have paid before, and they will pay again. And it's just really unfortunate that.
And I could see the future here a little bit. I can I can hear the phone call I'm having with like someone at EA being like, well, don't say the game's at the end. It's not what we're saying. Not like, it's going to be canceled any second now.
No, in terms of being the hot new thing that it was in 2019 when it first.
Right. And like, how do you strategize the pricing for these things, and how do you invest in the game? We know now that they canceled like a plan to put Titanfall gameplay into the game. They're going to have basically a whole new Titanfall game in there. And they canceled that because they're like, the money it would cost to produce that would not make sense with the amount of money we're expecting to make from Apex Legends going forward, because we think the growth is done. And all of their choices since then have reflected that sort of thinking. So this is just us diagnosing what we see from what their game is, where the game is now. And it will be around. There's going to be many more seasons after the 22nd season. But I
was going to say, yeah, their players right now is 174,000. Like 250,000 peak in the last 24 hours. Like the game is still huge, but they are thinking they already have the foot in the door with the people who have paid before and have played for a very long time, and they think they can get away with it. And so this review bombing is, I don't know, it's showing them that like people aren't happy about it, but I do wonder how many people have actually paid.
Yeah, but they know they're going to lose players from this. That's part of they factor that in. It's like, we know some of these players are going to be very upset by this. But we think that making a price increase now, and of course, part of that is it does feel like inflation's finally starting to calm down, and we like 6 months from now, we could be in a point where it's like, oh, they're actually lowering interest rates again because inflation's so calmed down, to the point where if you are the one company trying to raise prices at that point, you're going to look way out of touch. This is like maybe one of the last moments that you can get away with the price increase on your services and your products. I think that's what kind of forced Xbox into the situation where like, we got to do this now before Call of Duty is out, before we can't raise prices after inflation calms down. I think this is the same thing happening here. So they're like, listen, we know we're going to upset some of these fans, but we want to get that price increase now so it can be built in. And we think that we'll be able to keep enough that it'll make us more money in the long run. It's very cynical, but that's what's happening here. Oh. I guess real quick before we move on, 10,000 negative reviews is enough that maybe, do you think that like shakes them like a little bit? Because it's like, they knew they were going to upset fans, but this is such a backlash. I don't know. It feels like at a certain point, EA's got like that callous skin where they've been through this so many times, they should just be able to like barrel through it. But I don't know. Do you think this affects them?
No.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you.
I'm kind of like, I kind of don't see them reversing course on this.
Yep, I think so. I think you're right.
At least for this season, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be.
I mean, they could always do a make good, right? That is like, oh, here's some extra stuff, and that could have been part of the plan all along. Like, I
just don't.
We'll see.
I mean, I guess the only time like they properly did that on microtransactions would have been the Battlefront 2 stuff, right? Like, they reversed course on that pretty quickly,
right? But that was like, who called? It was someone like very high up somewhere called. Oh, that's right. Not the president of Disney at the time, but like one of the major executives called up EA and was like, you are fucking us. Like you are.
I was gonna say it's very different when you're fucking with someone else's IP, but when you're fucking with your own, it's like.
Right, exactly, right. And that's why in recent times, EA has been like, we are going to focus more on our own IP, which has been kind of weird because they go back and forth on that. Just a couple years ago, it was, that's why we're investing in Marvel IP, strange company. All right, this is a wild one. ChoNiki Collection announced for Switch. This is from Sal Romano at Gamatsu. Lucy, do you know what ChoNiki is?
I have no idea.
All right, I'm going to put a video up here for everybody to see in a second. This is a series of shooters from like, I think the 80s and 90s. It's a bunch of mostly nude muscle men flying through space and shooting each other. They're shooting each other. It's here. Let me just bring it up here. Let's see if I can show it to everybody. There we go. Here's one of the bosses, for example, and he's got like a metal contraption around his pelvic region, and then several nude men are spinning and firing bursts of energy at him.
Wait, where is this video? Where is this video?
I'm sorry, I'm streaming it on JohnBob.com/chat, but I can share it with you if you want it.
Oh no, my internet's behind. Hang on. Okay. I'm waiting for these nude men.
Yes, no problem. Yep. I didn't watch this whole video, but there's a part where the part of the contraption from under his crotch, another nude man shoots out of that, and it sort of elongates. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Anyway, ChoNiki was always like a fun reference in video game magazines when I was growing up. Like, it would get brought up quite frequently when people wanted to make like a kind of cheap joke. And I was always like, this is crazy. I didn't know they made games like this. And it turns out they make a lot of games like this, enough for a collection that will be coming to Switch. Following a teaser last week, Adia has officially announced ChoNiki Collection for Switch. A crowdfunding campaign is planned via Makoaki. ChoNiki Collection will include ports of the PC Engine versions of the shoot 'em up games ChoNiki and IA ChoNiki.
Wow.
Yeah, you see it?
Yeah, incredible. Wow.
This is a wild one. It is interesting that the Switch is at this point where not only will Nintendo allow a game like this on their service. Of course they will. They have Hentai Golf and a million other things on there now. But that's very strange. But it's like so popular. It's like, I don't know. I guess those old ChoNiki games, maybe that will be worth. God damn it. This is just an insane thing to look at.
You saw the message, dear.
Oh
my God.
Yep. Dudes rock the game. That's right. That's what we got going on here.
No, did you see from Slime McAwesome?
No, it's
Can we get a series where Jan and Nikki play this called ChoNiki? ChoNiki?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
That's so good.
Oh, that's
so good.
ChoNiki, Jesus. Okay, yeah, that's it. We got it. Now we have to. Those are the rules. Okay. ChoNiki. I don't know if it's a crowdfunding campaign, so it's probably not going to be coming anytime like very soon, but maybe sometime next year.
What are they up to in terms of like their crowdfunding? I mean,
yeah. It's from a service called Makuaake, Makuake. So it must be a Japanese crowdfunding service. Yeah, I'll get this. I'll play these games.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Right, you will.
It's time I finally played them for real. Microsoft releases new Xbox 360 Blades dynamic background for Series X and S. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. Microsoft has released a new Xbox 360 Blades dynamic background for its Xbox Series X and S consoles. The iconic Xbox 360 dashboard featured a tabbed interface that enabled users to navigate the console by switching between different blades. It launched in November 2005 and would go on to be replaced by the new Xbox experience, or NXE, 3 years later. Man, we only had Blades for 3 years. That's wild.
Wow.
Players can follow these steps to get the Xbox 360 Blades background. Basically, you just got to go to like your system settings. There's a personalization option in there somewhere. Go to My Background and then select Dynamic Backgrounds. I believe it's just right in there. I don't think you have to go to the store or anything. I think I have a video of this one too. Let's see here, just so people can get a look at it. But I don't know. It's not as exciting as you may hope for. Like, it doesn't make the interface suddenly feel like Blades. There's essentially just a picture of Blades in the background, and it does like animate because it's dynamic, so it feels a little bit more alive. But yeah, I'm not someone who's like, oh, the Xbox interface is unusable or something like that. I think they got it to a pretty good place. Yeah. And yet, of course, like everyone else, I do miss Blades. Did you ever were you like using Xbox 360 at the time of Blades? Was that like a main way of playing games for you?
Well, no, I didn't own one at the time of Blades, but I did. My friends had them,
of course.
And so my nostalgia is for the nicer looking Blades, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, hang on. Am I thinking of the right ones?
What?
Xbox 360 Blade, because mine did have blades, like you would tab across and stuff. But
I
didn't have the original dashboard.
Right, there was original dashboard, and then Blades happened later, and then after that, it was the NXE, the new Xbox experience. And I apologize, of course, to the viewers, because I do not have femboys in my trending bar over here. So sorry about that.
So if you look at this thing from The Verge, if you scroll down to the 4 pictures,
okay,
I had the top right. That's the one that I had.
Okay, yeah, that's the new Xbox experience. That's what that is.
Okay,
yes.
Yeah, so I had that one.
Okay, yep. Yeah, I think a big part of the affinity for Blades is nostalgia. I don't think it was necessarily that much easier, but it was it definitely was simple, and you could understand it after a couple of moments. And I think the big thing is it put your games up front and easy to find. Obviously, there's a lot more options now between Game Pass and games you own and games you have a disc in the system and all your digital games. So
I used to put MP3s. I used to put MP3s on my Xbox and listen to my own music when I was playing games.
Right? A lot of games had that option where you could just replace the music. Or was that every game? Was that like a system level feature?
It was system level.
Yeah, that's right. You could like put in a USB stick with your MP3s. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I definitely did that a couple times. Yep, absolutely. All right, let's keep moving here. The next Ryogakutoku game will be revealed at TGS 2024.
Let's go.
This is from Jordan Miller at VGC. The next game from Like a Dragon Studio, RGG, will be revealed at the Tokyo Game Show. According to a recent live stream from the studio, its next title will be revealed in September. No further information is known about the game or which franchise the game will be from. Earlier this month, though, during the Essence of Fandom event at Anime Expo, RGG teased the next title, saying that fans would be surprised. And I believe that's like the people wouldn't be expecting what the next game is going to be about. Fans in attendance later clarified that RGG may have been referencing Like a Dragon. However, it's also possible that the Judgment series will receive a new entry. This team is so prolific. They're able to get games out at such a fast pace. A big part of that is they are very smart about reusing assets and using the same like spaces over and over, and zero complaints about that. That's a really good idea, especially at this point in time in making games. I'm excited about this as someone who really got into Like a Dragon with Infinite Wealth. It's not going to be like a Dragon 9. Like it's way too soon for that, right?
Feels way too soon for that one.
And they do a lot of spinoffs, right? So it could be anything.
Yeah. I was going to say, because they did have Like a Dragon Ishin. When was that? A year ago?
That was like the early part of last year, right? Yeah.
Okay. God. Yeah, last year there was like what? Two spin-offs and then a main early this year.
Early this year we got Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, exactly.
Yeah, and so I don't know, like, oh yeah, Antrim in chat on Twitch says Judgment game, but in Hawaii to reuse that setting.
Hey,
which would be
not a terrible idea.
I wouldn't hate it.
I think if a Judgment-like game set in that setting, I think I'd be even more excited for, just because that's it. You know, if they make a Judgment and it's like, no, listen, yeah, of course there's the two previous games. But this is a clean start, and you could just jump in here. I'll be fine as well, because I haven't played the previous Judgment games, and I want to do that, but who has the time? Jesus.
Who has the time? Yeah. Lex has a great idea where it's like, you know, like they are in the middle of remaking kind of all of them, so it could be Kiwami 3.
Kiwami 3, but I think that's very expected. So maybe we're reading too much in, like, to them saying that one thing, the next thing is going to be unexpected, and then in another breath at a different place saying that there's going to be a game at Tokyo Game Show. Maybe this is just Kiwami 3. But when it comes to the unexpected game, I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how to read that, but yeah.
If people would be surprised, then I don't know. I would love a spin-off about a different character.
Yeah, I feel like a new spin-off feels like what the series is really primed for. I haven't looked at the timeline of the game releases to be like, oh, did they have the capacity to be working on all of that while putting out these spin-off remakes and remasters, and then also having Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and having, you know, the Judgment games a few years ago. Maybe I don't know. But you know, who knows? Maybe the spinoff is a smaller scale game too. That could be possible. Some of these spinoffs have been like, oh, these are the 8-9 hour games, as opposed to Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, which took me dozens of hours. Yeah. Either way, we'll find out about it. Tokyo Game Show. Tokyo Game Show kind of shaping up to be pretty interesting. Looks like some of these showcases between that and Gamescom a little bit later this year should have plenty of news for us. So news has slowed down a lot this summer. It really has. Coming out of Summer Game Fest, it's like feels like every week since then has just been not a lot to talk about. I think that's going to change here in the next couple of weeks. EA College Football 25 just launched and is already one of 2024's biggest games. This is from Zach Swisen at Kotaku. EA College Football 25 launches today for those who pre-ordered the deluxe edition of the game and got early access. And although the highly anticipated sports game hasn't even been out for more than 24 hours yet, it's already one of the year's biggest games. In case you didn't realize, the last major college football game developed by EA, NCAA Football 14 was released in 2013, more than a decade ago. In that time, players have used mods and hacks to try and keep that aging Xbox 360/PS3 era football sim up to date with the real world. But now, after serving its community for 10 plus years, NCAA 14 can rest as EA College Football 25 is out and already extremely popular. Technically, EA College Football 25 doesn't launch until July 19th, but like so many publishers, EA is holding the games hostage unless you pay a ransom to play 3 days early. It's a scummy move, but it hasn't stopped the new sports title from exploding online. According to various posts on Twitter, College Football 25 at one point had over 660,000 players online at one time. Later in the night, it looks like the new game hit 713,974 online players. That's just people who have bought the game early, Lucy. So the $100 version of it, whatever. Yes, it is just on, the two console platforms. And it's just the people who are online at that moment. So not the people who bought it and are like at work or like haven't opened it up yet or haven't played it yet. So that is massive. That like really shows that this game is going to rush to like 10 million copies sold in like no time at all.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. Do you have anyone in your life that's playing this? Because I know like not many other people at the site are playing. I know I'm like the one playing it, but do you got anyone who's like, oh my God, I've been waiting for EA Sports College Football? I
believe Greg Miller's
Greg Miller is very much into it. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't make any sense because he's like a Missouri fan. They suck at football.
Mizzou.
No, yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know. Have we messaged about it? I think the last thing we messaged is because no, we didn't.
You can message him and say Jeff Grubb says Mizzou sucks. You can just
okay. Jeff Grubb says, how do you spell Mizzou?
Mizou. Might be two Z's. It's probably two Z's, but I don't know. I don't care. No one does.
Okay. Jeff Grubb says Mizzou with one Z. His spelling sucks.
Perfect. Nailed it.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm not a sportly woman. I used to play tennis. I didn't even watch Wimbledon this year. I didn't even know it was on. What is tailgating?
Oh, tailgating. Listen, you should just be shown what tailgating is. Tailgating is, do you know what a tailgate is? Like a tailgate, like a tailgate noun. Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay.
I don't drive either, so
right.
Really
so on the back of like a pickup truck is a gate to the bed of the truck, and it's also the tail of the end of the truck. You drop that down, and then it kind of becomes a table where you can put foodstuffs, or you pull the grill out and you grill meats and all kinds of food, and then you have a bunch of stuff in the truck bed, ice and drinks and the toppings, and you make yourself a sandwich, and you eat all day, you drink all day, and then you go watch the sporting event that you're at because you're parked right outside of the sporting event in the parking lot, and now you could just walk right in after you're having a party day.
That sounds awesome.
It is a good time.
Bit, don't give a shit about the sport.
Sure, yeah, but you can do it for wrestling too. So there you go, Lucy.
I've never seen wrestling, but I would do it. I would. I don't know how drunk I am.
I'm trying to think of a good event for Jan to take you to tailgate.
I went to a baseball game a few times, and like you got to drink some beers to get through those. I'm no offense, America, but they are.
No, America fully understands. It's definitely a drinking sport. That's half the reason we like it. Yeah, baseball's a nice one to do with friends because you can actually talk during it.
Ice hockey. I had a good time, but ice hockey. But that's just watching dudes punch the shit out of each other.
Yeah, they can get pretty physical for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Fistical, yes. They'll get fistical. Physical. Yeah. Go. Hey, Sharks seem like they're going to be better this year. Squidgrass. Good luck to you.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Hey. I have been playing College Football 25. I do think that game is very solid. The foundation is very strong. There's a reason that it's out, and you haven't heard a bunch of like backlash against it. It's because they got the football right. There is a few annoyances. I just cannot get the run pass option to work, everybody, because it's.
Was it? Yeah. Different to Madden?
So okay,
because it's all the college.
Yes. No, good question. In the past, when they would do NCAA football, each year what would happen was they would make the Madden game, and then they would take that Madden game and they would start reskinning it and retooling it to be next year's NCAA game. So, and that's how it would work in the past. This time around, my understanding when I talked to sources that were telling me about this game, what they said is for this one, at the very least, they wanted to like make it on its own, even though it's being made by Tiburon, the team that makes Madden. And even though Tiburon has been very busy because they've also been making the golf game, and I think they have something else that I can't remember off the top of my head. They're very busy. They have a lot of stuff going on. But for some reason this time they're like, they just wanted to build this on its own, make it its own pillar. I bet that won't last very long. I bet they start taking stuff from Madden and just putting it in here going forward. But I think for the reintroduction, I think they wanted to have a good, like, oh, this feels like its own thing. Yeah. And it does. I think they mostly accomplished that. A lot of it's very similar to Madden, but there's definitely buttons that are like, oh, I would expect this to do this in this game because that's how it works in Madden. It doesn't work that way here. But yeah, and that is where a little bit of the problem has come in with like that run pass option. I try to basically, when you hike the ball, you could choose to either keep it as the quarterback or hand it off. And this is like a very popular in college football. It is very difficult for me to get that to work. And I've seen a lot of other people complaining about it online, mostly because the button just doesn't feel like it should be in the right place. Yes, Kip Kippington, I am also butthurt that it's not on PC, but that's EA. They've just put Madden and FIFA on PC, and that's it, I think. I guess that's most of their sports games up until this point. Okay, that does it for the news. I have the poll question coming up here right now from earlier this week. If you played the Concord beta, how would you rate your time with it? Let's start here. We'll go from the bottom and work our way up. 38% gave it 1 star. 15% gave it 2 stars. 28% gave it 3 stars. 12% gave it 4 stars. And 7% gave it 5 stars. Now, for that 38% giving it 1 star, I'm going to guess a significant portion of that could be like people who didn't actually play the game, or people who are, maybe some fanboys out there, who knows. I don't, but that's not discounting the entirety of that 38%. I bet a lot of people do not like this game. That said, I gave it 3 stars. 28% is the second highest. Star. That's where I'm at. Did you play Concord?
I did. Greg replied.
Oh shit.
He said, Jeff Grubb's kids probably aren't his.
All right, well, I'm out of here then. I can leave then. That's good news for me. I'm out. Peace, everybody.
He's really fucking good at them.
Oh no, I know. I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was in for.
You poked the bear. Yeah. You poked the bear with Mizzou. He's oh my god, yeah. He's done some of those on me before where I'm just like, fuck. Yeah, I got nothing.
Right, yeah. It's like I could respond, but I know where that goes. I know where that leads.
You don't want to feud. I don't want my gaming dads to feud.
No, I don't want it either. No. I'm just glad I'm from Missouri. All right. Let's see.
But, Concord. No, 3 out of 5 for me too. I coming as an Overwatch player.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
I talked about this on FPS this week where I was like, I really don't think this was a good onboarding experience, especially because this is your beta that you want people to get in and like figure out how the game works and, get that. I've been saying foot in the door so much recently because of like Game Pass and price hikes but also for this, right, that you want people to get in, have the best possible experience, and then eventually buy the $40 game when it comes out. No tutorialization was not great. I didn't enjoy that.
Feel a little lost a lot of times when I was especially choosing a new character, being like, Jesus Christ,
what the hell did any of them do?
And also you can hold the button.
The time to pick them was so quick.
Yes, exactly. You can hold the button to see what they do. And I had a play session where I would okay, I'm picking a character. I think I have plenty of time to see this, especially like in between deaths is when this was happening. Yeah. And I would get it, and I would read the first sentence of one of the abilities, and the thing would disappear. And be like, all right, now we're loading you into the level. I'm like, well, I'm still not. It says 3 seconds left. Let me read like 2 more sentences. What the fuck? It's crazy. It was very frustrating. But that is like early day problems. That getting past that, it's like I don't necessarily think like, oh, once I do fully get all these characters, the game is going to just show itself to me and completely like click with me 100%. It clicked a little bit more with me once I started getting good with some of the characters. But not to the point where I'm like, this game feels fantastic. It doesn't feel as good as Overwatch, I don't think.
Yeah, I think in terms of balance, I was like, there was a lot of stuff that was just weird. Like some of the movement was really, really slow. I also felt like Time to Kill would be a little too long in some cases. I don't know. But not long enough when it was me, am I right?
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. The thing is that I really liked that opening cutscene. I know you can't judge a whole game based off one cutscene, but I really liked the setup for it. Yes, it's very Guardians of the Galaxy, but I thought they did a really great job with that. And then it just dumped me into a thing, and I was just like, oh, I don't know. But then I have a consistent feeling about Overwatch, right? And I loved it from the very beginning, even though I wasn't good at it. Whereas with this one, my opinion on it would change so much per round and based on.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, that's not a consistent feeling. I don't know.
No,
don't know about this
I
one.
think you nailed it.
Maybe like after tuning, because there is going to be the open beta this
Definitely.
weekend. I didn't delete it. I am going to give it another go to see if any of the balance changes kind of make it feel a bit better. But also, yeah, I don't know.
It is definitely. You're right. When I was playing the game, it's like, well, this isn't a winner, and I like with like one of the characters or one of the levels or something like that. And I never felt that way with the early days of Overwatch. It's like, oh no, every single one of these heroes feels viable and interesting, and I know there's going to be people who are into playing this character, and I think there's going to be a lot of characters that don't get a lot of love in Concord. I wanted to say Guardians of the Galaxy there for a second. Okay, let's get wrapped up here. What else we got to do? Okay, new poll question. I'll get to that in a second, but first, Lucy, why don't you tell people where they can find you on the internet, what you have going on, all that good stuff.
I'm everywhere at Lucy James Games. Stuff I've got going on. New episode of Star Players this week is Steve-O from Jackass. I got to play the PS2 Jackass game with Steve-O. It was a really fun shoot because also like the whole point of the show is talking to people about gaming. And everyone else loves games, but Steve-O's gone on record saying that he hates gaming. So he kind of he came to apologize to the gamers, and then we played the game together, and it was very fun. He was lovely. So that's up on the GameSpot YouTube channel right now. Thank you to folks in the chat who said they watched it and said it was good. Thank you, I appreciate it. And yeah, next week I'm going to Comic-Con. I am hosting the Dragon Age panel. If you are there, please come by. We've also got the fandom panel on the Thursday. I believe it's like 5 till 6. I will tweet it out. If you're there, we'd love to see you. Me, Tam, Emma, Jan, Chris Hayner, all going to be on a panel on the Thursday as well. Please be excited for Comic-Con.
Excellent. Yeah, if you're at Comic-Con, definitely go check the folks out, everybody. It's mostly out of our element, so it's always nice when people are there and they still show up. So definitely give our friends some love, everybody. All right, new poll question I have right here. Are you still interested in Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club? Yes, no, and I still don't know what that is. We asked about Emio when it was a teaser. Now we know what it is. Let's see how things change. I guess I'm thinking about it a little bit more throughout this episode. I'm interested. I'm gonna play it.
I'm more interested.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
I would have completely ignored it if you hadn't said it was spooky serial killer stuff, and I'm coming off that long legs.
Yep. And listen, you're a white woman. You love serial killers. That's just how it goes. That's how across the board. That's how it goes.
Like genuinely, I wanted to become a criminologist when I was a kid.
Really?
I wanted to be a profiler or a criminologist. And my mum was a criminal. She was a lawyer, and she still lives. Don't know why I said it like that, but she's retired.
I lived, bitch.
She lived, and she used to have to go into prisons a lot, and because like she'd be an on-call lawyer for criminals, and she was like, "Yeah, no, you would not survive. Like you could not do it." So honestly, yeah, that's my sliding jaws moment, probably.
Fair enough. And now here we are. So it all worked out. Fantastic. All right. I think, let's see here. We'll discuss the results of this poll on Game S Mornings on Giant Bomb tomorrow morning. Speaking of Giant Bomb, later today, Daika Grubb Katana returns. Blight Club is finally back. We're going to get back into things. I'll play more Daikatana. Boy, I hope there's not much left, but I got a bad feeling that there is. We will also have a voicemail dump truck tomorrow. On Friday, we will have UPF, where we still will play Nintendo World Championship. And then we'll do a BCR. We'll have a BCR after that as well. So looking forward to all of that. And then next week, I don't know. Comic-Con, is it during the weekend or is it during next week?
No, I leave on Wednesday. I think Tam and Jan do too.
Okay.
So, what's this about Squidward?
Oh, Jesus. When I was doing a show the other day, Addie came in and yelled at me, "Get me Squidward," about 10 times.
You get her Squidward?
Look, she can't come and yell and tell me what to do, and then I do it, or else she'll keep doing that. So, and also she's gotten a lot recently, and we're going to Disney. So yeah, I'll get her Squidward. Everybody, chill out.
Well, Squidward's not a Disney character, so you're gonna have to take it to Universal too. So,
well, there you go. Lucy James Games, thank you so much for spending today talking with me about video games. I really appreciate it. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and ChoNiki.